Hi everyone. What a day. I'm finally streaming on Monday again. This is the first time I've streamed on Monday in a while, I think. It's just me today. I'm going to wait for notifications to go out and then yeah. So I'm going to be I'll probably say this a few times, but I went on a trip this most recent weekend and it was very fun. I'm excited to talk to you guys about it because it was really cool. So I'm just gonna wait for some people to be in the chat. I know I made this stream like last minute. I set it up maybe an hour ago. Not even. So I'm hoping notifications went out. Dad got his notification. Hi, Dad. Let me pull up YouTube in another tab so I can see the chat better. What is up, Pam? Hi. Hi, Mom. Tina McNeil, what's up? Hi, Amy. So, yeah, I went to Salem last weekend, the most recent weekend, like yesterday. I got back last night. Hi, Ange. Yep, Ange is in a meeting call, so she's trying to multitask and watch at the same time. So, yeah, I thought I could give a little recap of my trip, talk about Salem itself. The entire time being in Salem, I wore my mask the entire time. I went with my friend Matt. We wore our masks the whole time we were there. The only time we didn't wear a mask was when we were eating food in a restaurant. Every all of the tours, every time we were in stores, it's mask mandatory the entirety of Essex Street, and all of the really popular places in Salem, everywhere is mask required. So I wore my mask the entire time. Matt wore his mask the whole time, so it's all good. Lisa, what's up? Hi. So yeah, I'm very excited to talk about it because I've always wanted to go to Salem. I've always thought it was so cool. I learned about the Salem witch trials in junior year of high school, and I think it's a really interesting thing that happened in history. I'm really nerdy about it. I was very, very excited to be able to see the memorials and stuff. So it was really cool. What's up, Tim Pruitt? So I thought I would tell you about my trip. So my priority for this trip, I planned it a week before the trip. So I was not able to get literally any tours or anything like that. Reservations were really, really hard to get for tours and shows. So I was able to get 2 tours. One was a tour of the witch house, and another one was a tour of Salem itself, talking about the history of the witch trials, which was really cool. I learned more than I already knew about the witch trials, which was really awesome because I wanted to learn new things, and I did. This also, about 10% of, I learned this, 10% of the population of Salem identifies as Wiccan and witch, and I think that stuff is really cool, really interesting. I really love the spirituality and the energy of that kind of stuff, so I've been really into that, and I got a few things regarding that. I got these candles, and I got a tarot deck, so I think that stuff's cool. Stuff's interesting. I like that. And so, yeah. Thank you guys for being here. I'm very excited to talk about it. And if you guys have any questions about Salem, feel free to ask because I learned a lot. And just questions about Salem itself. We went around most of Salem, I'm pretty sure. I wanted to go on the trolley tour, but it was sold out for all of October. There's no way out we were able to get on that tour, which I was sad about. Hi, Kit. Yeah, I was very, very, very excited about being able to walk around, Salem and being able to see the architecture of the place, because Salem, Massachusetts, it's kind of like a this actually is a candle for positivity and spirituality and wisdom and stuff. So this is actually a positive candle, I promise. This is not the black flame candle from Hocus Pocus. I actually was not able to, I know I tried finding Allison's house from Hocus Pocus because they did film a lot of Hocus Pocus in Salem, but I got so distracted with so many other things, I wasn't able to find any of the places. But sorry, I'm getting, it's weird being on screen by myself for the first time in a really long time. So I did not see any black cats, sadly. Kenzie, my wife, just made a tarot card apron, thought the material was really cool. Yes, tarot is really interesting. I think it's really cool. It's not for everybody, obviously. I'm not going to force that on anybody, but I personally think it's really cool. Yes, we need positivity right now. And no, I did not see any black cats. Sadly, no binks. So yeah, it's really cool seeing the architecture and the way that Salem is set up, because it's Salem is kind of like the birthplace of America, because that was one of the first settlements. There's a cemetery in Salem, actually, that's right next to the witch trial memorial, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But there was a cemetery that is takes place from like 16 something to 1840, I think, and there's like somebody buried in there from the Mayflower. So like that is how old this place is, like the birthplace of America, which is really cool. Hey, Mike Wheeler, what's up? How exciting. Would love to do that. One of my bucket list things to do. Yes, Salem is so cool. I actually saw an article saying that people in Salem don't want visitors. That came out like 3 days ago. I was in Salem 3 days ago, so I planned this about a week ago, which was very last minute, but we were safe. We, were sanitary. We had our masks on the whole time. We weren't really near people, so it was, we were as safe as we possibly could be. And they had limited capacity for all of the stores, all of the restaurants. You had to wait in lines to get in a lot of these stores. Like we waited in a few lines to get inside some stores. We didn't do too many of them. I think about 3 stores we waited in line for. And a lot of these stores sell witch things and stuff like that. That's where I got the tarot deck and the cards and the candles. So one of the really cool things in Salem is that they have the witch house. And the witch house is the house of one of the judges of the witch trials. It's the only house in Salem from that time period still standing. I was able to go inside. I sadly was not allowed to take pictures. There are no pictures, videos, or anything like that inside the witch house, which, like I said, I was very sad about because it was so cool. They had a lot of they had things inside the house, not specifically from that house back then, but from that time period, actual things, which was so cool. And it was really, really awesome. They had a lot of information. It was very educational. It had a little information about the witch trials themselves. And I actually bought this book, which is called The Modest Inquiry into the Nature of Witchcraft, and basically how to spot witchcraft and how to prosecute it, written by John Hale in 1697. So I can give a tiny little explanation of the witch trials because I do love talking about it. I love talking about history, especially about that stuff. So I would so love to talk about it a little bit. But I actually bought this for my friend Emmy. This is a gift for her because her and I are really into that stuff. So Salem, the house itself is on the corner of a street, and it looks so out of place. because it's a house built in I think they dated it 1670 something, about when the house was built. And it's 2020. That was a very long time ago. So the fact that that house is still up and you were able to walk in it, not just on the one floor, we were actually able to go on the second floor, and it was so terrifying. Matt and I got really bad vertigo. It was crazy because I think the whole thing about the house is that they didn't have like regulations and stuff back then when they were first building these houses. So everything's kind of like wobbly. I could see through the cracks of the floorboards into the downstairs. That is how thin these floors were. It was terrifying. So we got really bad vertigo when we were like walking. I felt like the whole house was tilted. And it was just so cool being able to be inside there. This was also Matt's first time going. Matt's never been on stream or in videos, but he has been in chats. So him and I went, and it was really, really fun. I was going to vlog and he was going to help me, but I ended up getting so distracted by all these other stuff that I didn't actually end up vlogging anything. I will look up a picture of the house. Actually, one second. I can show you a picture that Matt and I took outside. So I'm going to share that really quick. One moment. Trying to find it. So here's a picture of us in front of the house. It's a really, really cool, like it is so cool because it has like these 3 peaks, and the architecture is just so interesting. And I was really glad that we were able to see it because that's so unique, being like that old of a house. And yes, I dressed very like alternatively. It was really fun. So some of the things that I bought, like I said, I bought the candles, the tarot deck, the book. I also bought this necklace, which is for balance, and I got this hat, which is basically I know this is very like, this was one of those things like everybody was wearing this hat, but this was a hat that I got. It is so comfy. The fabric itself is really unique and cool. I've never had a hat with this fabric before, so it is really cool. It's like a little witch hat. Trying to put it on right. I should have stopped and said hello to Zip. He doesn't live far from there. I thought about hitting up Zip, but I know he's got a lot going on with him and his family, so I wasn't going to bother him. Yeah, but that house is so cool. It's pretty small, but it's really interesting, and I think it's really crazy. A huge house for the time it was built, was a mansion, kind of, yeah. I don't know if that's what this fabric is. I genuinely can't tell. I can show you really up close, but I think it's really cool. And then the edges, you can kind of move it. So I think it's awesome. Hi, Jeffrey Resendez. So, it really was a mansion. It was a probably very expensive house back in that time. And it's just so crazy because it's the only house still flocked. Oh my gosh. So it's the only house from that time still standing in Salem. So you have all of these regular houses around it, and then you have this house just in the middle of it. So it really stands out. It's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. I did think it was a lot bigger. Have you told your dad that cat is for keg parties? I have never been to a keg party. Pete, what's up? Welcome in. Did you cast any spells? No, I don't cast spells. So I had a lot of fun being able to walk in there. I had bought a ticket for that. It's actually funny because Matt and I went to go buy the tickets for the witch house tour. It looks more knitted. Yep, flocked. That's what it is. Everybody's gonna say it's flocked now. So when we went to go buy tickets, I apparently had gotten the last one for the time span that was there, and it was the only time during the day. So when we actually went, we said, hey, I was only able to get a ticket. He wasn't able to get one. Do you think that you can make an exception? And they said, yep, that's fine. Just make sure he buys a ticket afterwards. So we went through the house, we walked through, and then he bought a ticket after. So he still paid for it. It was just an extra ticket. But that's where I got this book, and it, like, the inside of it looks really cool and is kind of difficult to read. Flocked Kenzie Funko. Now available at Funko.com. You guys are crazy. Yes, Salem, Massachusetts is really awesome, Jeffrey. Yeah, so I'm trying to keep it up. It's like I said, it's been a while since I've been by myself on screen. So we actually were able, Essex Street is like the main street where you like find stores and stuff like that. Does the book have spells? No, this is a book about how to spot witchcraft and persecute it. So this is a book not in support of witchcraft at all. This is very much anti-witchcraft book, but it is really interesting for history because it was written in 1697 about witchcraft and all that stuff. It is really interesting. So the floors, like not the floors, the streets of Salem are very uneven, like cobblestone and stuff like that. It is very difficult to walk on it sometimes, depending on what shoes you're in. I think my internet just went out for a second. I'm not sure. 1 second. Okay, my dad's telling me to plug into the landline. So I have to find the thing to plug in. So my internet is bad right now. Sorry about that, guys. Plugging in right now. Hope that's better. Let me know if this is better, if you can see me or hear me. Jeff's, I'm assuming that's Jeff. Jeff said, did you see the Sanderson sisters? That great Banks. Billy, no, Mom did not go. The Sandersons, there was actually, it's really cool because everybody gets really festive for Halloween in Salem around right now. So there was a lot of people dressed up in Halloween costumes, and I did see a few kids dressed in Sanderson sister costumes. It was super cute and super cool. Question, has Kenzie used any of it on Tracy? No. Hi, Karki. Hey, Carol. Billy Butcherson. Oh, Mom didn't go, and then Billy Butcherson was also not there. So you guys, all right, I think it's back. So it was really interesting, like walking on like the very uneven ground. It was just really cool. Everything about it was, I thought it was an amazing trip. We went on a tour. This was also on Sunday. This was at like 4:00. We went on a tour that was an hour and a half long, and we basically, it was walking all around Salem, and the tour guide telling us about what happened in the witch trials, what happened after the witch trials, and what happened to the people who were involved in the witch trials. So 20 people died as a result of the witch trials in Salem, but over 200 people were actually accused of witchcraft. So you can see that, like, obviously nobody should have died because of this, because this was a really, really complicated and crazy situation filled with hysteria and fear. And a lot of it was unfair towards the people who were on trial, because the judges who were in charge of the witch trials and the people who were in charge actually had like questions and were trying to trick people into confessing and into lying and stuff like that. Like, it was just extremely unfair. And the people who died as a result, like 19 were hanged and one was pressed to death. And it's like it never should have happened. The mass hysteria was insane. But it said that I don't remember the statistic, but there could have been witches. Angela escaped. Oh my gosh. A good, like, I don't remember the exact statistic, but the tour guide told us that there's a mass amount of people who can trace their heritage and their lineage. They can trace it back to the Salem witch trials. So our tour guide was a descendant of one of the accused, and his wife is a descendant of another of the accused. Like, it's really, really crazy, because it was so far back then. There's so many people descended from them. Jeff needs a broom beating now. He does. Where's Angela? I'll text her, let her know. We also, like I said, my main priorities were seeing Salem, learning more history, and shopping. I'm betting Angela isn't watching this. If she is, Jeff may need to be turned into a toad. No, Angela's in a meeting right now, so sadly she's not. And I should text her and tell her that Jeff's saying mean things about her in the chat. So I also wanted to do a lot of shopping. So like I said, I did that, but I also went to a store called Die With Your Boots On, which is a store for alternative clothing and dressing and stuff. So I got this sweater that says Forever October. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's really cute. Has two women, like, they look like they're ghosts, but they have little pumpkin heads, and it says Forever October. So if it's my style, I've been really, trying to dress cool and my own style, my own aesthetic, you might say, but it's kind of just whatever I'm feeling. So that might be one of the reasons I've been wearing more black lately. I think it looks cool. But I got this hoodie. I also got a scrunchie that was like oversized and lace. And I also got a ghost pin that is in the other room, and I'm not going to get up to go get it, but it is very cute. It's like a little ghost pin in a figure 8. So we went to that store. That was a decently long line to get in there. And then we ate at like one or two places. But walking around, seeing the places, seeing the memorial, I will pull up a picture of what the memorial looks like. I didn't get a really good picture of it, but it's in this like garden type thing, and there are 20 benches, and each of the benches has the names of the people who died as a result of the witch trials. And let me find it. So they have these benches, and we walked down this way, and right about now in the year, people leave flowers and little gifts to the people who passed away. Obviously, this is not where they were buried as a punishment for being executed as a witch. The people who died weren't given a proper burial, so no one knows exactly where their bodies are. But this is a memorial for them. And hi, Mike 88. So this is a memorial for the witches, or for the people who died because of the witch trials. So it says their name, the way they were, the way they were executed and the date of the execution. So they had, hi Matt. So actually, Pam, no, there's one case of someone being burned at the stake as a witch, and that was Joan of Arc. That nobody in America, nobody over here was ever burned at the stake. That was a European thing, and that was seen as barbaric, so they didn't do it very often or at all. Only Joan of Arc. So that is a really common misconception about the witch trials. So, yeah, Matt in the chat, we went to Salem together. That's Matt. We had a really great time. Matt, I showed a picture earlier of us in front of the witch house, if you want to rewind to see that. So, I'm trying to think of what else to talk about. I'm only 25 minutes in. So, it was very crowded, but that might also, that is good that they put that in the history, yeah. So, I've actually been to Salem, such a sad history. Yeah, Salem's history it's devastating what happened to those people being wrongfully accused. And I think it's great that, the people of Salem have kind of reclaimed that and kind of, accepted that type of witchcraft type belief. I think that stuff's really cool. And I think the history there is just so rich, not just because of the witch trials, but because it is one of the very first places settled in America. There are a lot of buildings that were actually, like dunkings, pressings, and hangings aren't barbaric. Dunkings also wasn't a thing. But pressings and hangings, obviously they are barbaric. Pressing actually wasn't done as a form of execution, but pressing was used to get information out of people, hence the term pressing you for info or information. And the cat is eating food. I don't know if you can hear that, but yeah. So hangings, obviously any form of execution is barbaric, but the person who was pressed to death was Giles Corey. Giles Corey was not a good person. Not many of the people back then were very good people, but Giles Corey was an awful person who they wanted him to confess to being a witch. He would not. So all of the people who actually confessed to being witches weren't executed because they were seen as they were telling the truth. They could be forgiven and they could live their lives. But the people who refused to confess, the people who said, no, I'm not a witch, people who refused, those were the people who were executed because they were seen as liars. And lying was even bigger of a sin for them. Well, everyone knows that a witch weighs the same as a duck. Or is that backwards? Monty Python, yes. I actually thought about that while we were in the tour. I was thinking about that scene from Monty Python, and I was like, I'm not going to mention that. But I wanted to, but I did not. So, when Giles Corey died from pressing, they were trying to get information out of him. They would put stones on him on a wooden board, and they did it for 2 days before he died, never having confessed. He refused to confess, and that's why the people died. Another one of the people who was arrested was Sarah Good. Now, Sarah Good was also arrested with her 4-year-old daughter. That's a little messed up. But the daughter ended up confessing to being a witch and was in prison for 18 years. Yeah, so there were 6 men that were killed and 14 women. John Proctor was one of those men. I can't remember the name of the rest of them, but Bridget Bishop was the first person to be executed, and she was very and a lot of the people, like a lot of the reasons people were accused of being witchcraft wasn't because people actually thought they were witches, but it was because they wanted their land, they wanted their money. So Bridget Bishop was a very, not very wealthy, but she had a lot of land in Salem. And people didn't think that a woman should have that much land to herself. So the moment they could, they accused her of witchcraft. She was arrested and executed within 10 days. So Giles Corey was the only one. So Giles Corey wasn't the only man, but he was the only one that wasn't hanged. So that might be the different thing that you're thinking of. And this all started because of two young girls who were having afflictions, and they were I don't remember exactly what they were doing, but they were acting out. Did they mention anything about a problem with fermented rye causing hallucinations? I didn't hear anything about that, but that could have. Oh wait, yes, they did. There was a man who accused someone of being a witch because he said that she had sent a projection of a pig to him and tried to kill him. Because and he said, well, this woman, I had an altercation with her, and so she sent this ghostly pig to kill me, when in actuality he had been drinking all day. He was not in it at all. So the girls, it's a theory that the girls were actually suffering from a mental illness of hysteria, and that was what happened. And then they just and then after Tituba was accused, Tituba was the first person to be accused of witchcraft. Hi, Avery. It's okay, Tim Pruitt. So the whole thing was that Tituba was accused. They said, the girls, I'm sorry, I'm so bad at telling stories, but the girls were having these afflictions. They were acting out, which wasn't how children acted back then, because they weren't being able to be children. They were told, do chores, do that. You're not allowed to play. You're not allowed to have friends. So they were acting out, and they were doing all these things. And a physician came, a doctor, a physician comes and says, I can't find anything physically wrong with them. Must be witchcraft. And that's how that started. So, moment. Salem is a creepy place, and I thought growing up in Sleepy Hollow was area was creepy. Yeah, Salem is a little spooky, but it's actually like really, really, really cool. So the girls were asked, did Tituba put a spell on you? And they were like, yeah, totally. Because it was like the first time they were getting attention. So what I think happened was that they were having these mental illnesses, and they ended up accusing these people because they were asked if they were accusing if these people were witches, and then they couldn't get out of it. They couldn't say, oh, I was lying, because lying was like the biggest like sin for them. So the kids couldn't say that they were lying. So they just continued to accuse people, and then more children joined. Abigail Williams and other children. There were like, I don't remember the amount of the girls, but there were a lot of them who were accusing people, and it just became this thing that was out of control. Everyone was being accused. There used to be a TV show called Salem with John Proctor and Tituba in it. Tituba was a Native American servant, slave. She wasn't there on her own will, but she okay, so I lied. So I'm a witch, I guess. Here's the thing I was talking about. In 1976, Linda Corporell offered the first evidence the Salem witch trials following an outbreak of rye. Ergot is a fungus blight that forms hallucinogenic drugs in bread. Its victims can appear bewitched. That makes sense. Giles Corey was the only one that was killed in a barbaric way. Yes. So he was the only one not killed by hanging. Everybody else died from hanging. And that's not even all of the people who died as a result, because there were so many people who died in jail. That name starts with a T. I thought she was a made-up character in The Crucible. I did not know she was a real person. Yes, all of the characters in the... So here's the thing. The Crucible was written... it's historical fiction. Abigail Williams was 12. And John Proctor was in his 80s. So if you... people are scared of what they can't understand. Exactly. So if you've ever read The Crucible, seen The Crucible, you know that in that, Abigail Williams, John Proctor cheated on his wife with Abigail Williams, but in actual life history, that's not a thing that would have happened. So that was created for that. The only things that are accurate from The Crucible are there were witch trials, these were the names of people. That's about it. I tried saying her name, but my text, yeah, I had a feeling that would happen, Mike. But yes, Tituba was a real person. Hasn't changed today when, yeah. I think it's really important to not repeat things that happened back then, is to, we look at people and we say, I may not understand what you believe in. I may not understand that, but I'm going to respect that because that's your own thing that you're doing. That's how I feel about it. And I think that's an important way to feel, to not repeat these kinds of acts of awful proportions. But it was really cool hearing all this information about the trials. I knew a good bit about the trials. I've watched a lot of videos. I've done a lot of research on it. But I learned even more than I knew beforehand, which was one of the goals I had when going to Salem, was to learn more about the witch trials than I had already known. So, sorry, I'm thinking. So yeah, I had a really, really great time. I think the stores were really interesting. I wasn't able to go in all the ones that I wanted to go into. They had these really, really, really long lines, and it was very difficult to get into the stores because they were at such low capacity. And these stores are very small themselves. So there were some places that could only allow 4 to 6 people inside the store. So you had these really long lines outside that were socially distanced, where people would be waiting to go inside. And so some places said, take as long as you want to shop, but there was one store that was so popular, they said, you have 15 minutes, go. And that's where I got the hat and the tarot deck. But it was really interesting being able to see so many people in costumes too. People were really creative. I think next year we want to go in costumes. I don't know what kind of costumes. I dressed very alternatively. Sounds like you have to go back next year. Yeah, we're planning on going back next year so we can get on the trolley tour, so we can get these other ghost tours, so we could get more history tours, and I would like to go in some of the stores that I wasn't able to go in this time, hoping that it's not as bad, pandemically. I was fine wearing the mask the whole time. It's actually very chilly. It's very cold. So I was cold. I actually wore a shirt underneath this, and I wore pants and really fuzzy Nightmare Before Christmas socks with lined Crocs. I was bundled up, and wearing the mask wasn't an issue because it was actually keeping my face warm. Did you get the chance to go to the actual museum this time? So there's a museum in the Witch Museum in the thumbnail. I actually didn't get to go inside. I didn't get a chance to get a ticket for it. But we did walk outside of it, and we walked by that statue, which is the statue of the founder. That had nothing to do with the Salem witch trials, but everybody thinks he's like a witch, but he's not. He's just the founder of Salem, who happens to be in front of the Witch Museum. The only places I was able to go tour-wise were inside the witch house and the historical witch trial tour that was an hour and a half of us walking around Salem. So, and then in the tour itself, there was only 5 of us. walking around, and like it was really great. I had a really, really great time. I do want to go back next year. We want to go back, and I'm hoping to be able to go into some more of the stores that I wasn't able to. There was one called I think Covan's Cottage, and it looked really, really cool on the inside. It looked all like spooky and all like it gave me Lord of the Rings vibes, and I wanted to go in, but the wait was way too long, so we ended up not going. But yeah, and then I think another thing is that we weren't able to get a hotel in Salem, so we were actually in a hotel about 20 minutes away, and next to this hotel was a Sonic, and I think I've had Sonic before, I just don't remember it, so this is kind of my first time having Sonic, and I thought it was very good. I thought it was great. And it was really funny because I'm literally sitting in Boston, and for some reason I was surprised when the woman taking our order had a Boston accent. I was taken aback. I was surprised, and then I realized, oh wait, I'm in Boston right now. Why am I surprised? I felt very dumb at that moment. After reading The Crucible in high school, I became very interested in Salem. Exactly the same for me. I got really into it. I thought it was really cool. Now looking back at The Crucible, I'm like, wow, that's a little weird. The way that they wrote it, the way that they portray it. In other words, you wore all black. Yes, I basically did. I love wearing this kind of clothing. I thought it was really great. I had an amazing time. I really, really want to go back. Maybe I'll be able to be more organized next time, and I'll be able to vlog it or something like that. Maybe do some type of filming. I think that would be good. So, are you sure it wasn't Tina serving? I actually messaged Tina afterwards to let her know that I was there. I thought it was really funny. And yeah, it is really cool that they filmed Hocus Pocus there. Next time I want to find Allison's house. So, okay. I think my internet went out for a second, but I think I'm back. Let me know if I am back. Okay, I think I'm just like really blurry. My wife has always wanted to go to Salem. She's always been interested in witch trialing. Yeah, totally. It's so cool. If you are really into the witch trials, if you're into that history and stuff, it's a really great place to go. My internet. So, sorry, Kenzie, you've been listening to Zip for so long. I know. Someone cast a spell on my Wi-Fi. They really did. Okay, I think it's getting better. I don't know. I'm plugged in.
You are, so shouldn't be no reason.
Okay, I'm going to end the stream now because the internet is not working. So, thank you guys. I think the internet will work now, but if you guys have any questions about it, you can ask. I'm hoping I'd be able to answer it, but just like questions about Salem in general and how the trip was and all that. But if not, I think I'm gonna end soon because of the internet, and I think Dad just come home with food. So I think I'm gonna just end a little early. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love talking about it. I love talking about Salem. I loved talking about that trip. That was really, really fun. Hopefully Matt and I are able to go next year. How long did you get to stay? So we left around like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. We left around noon, and it was a 3-hour drive. So we were there from like 5 because we had to check in at the hotel and get ready. So we were there from like 5 o'clock on Saturday till like 8, and then we went back to the hotel. And then on Sunday we were there from about 11 o'clock to 8 again. So we were there for a long time during the day and stuff. I think maybe next time I want to do 3 days if I can. That would be interesting to, kind of have time to go around, maybe see a little bit more of the area. Hi, Christine. So Mom said talk about Vlogtober. So yeah, I've been posting videos for Vlogtober. I have to film the next 2, but I posted every Saturday so far in October has been a October Halloween themed vlog. Was decorating my apartment, a movie journal video, and then my parents and I going to we went to Liberty Ridge Farm. So go check those out. Leave me comments. I love hearing what you guys have to say about my videos and input and criticism. I'm fine with any of it. I really love hearing from you guys and getting feedback on my videos because I want to make the best content I can. So thank you guys. 1 second. I hate that it's become so super touristy, and it kind of takes away what would happen, but I guess that happens with, yeah, it does. We tried to avoid the very gimmicky touristy things, like the things that you could tell were kind of just like cash grabs. And we tried, we only went to like smaller stores, and we went on these like smaller tours and walked around ourselves. Like we tried to not be super touristy, but we did have a lot of fun, and it was great. And it does suck that it has become such a tourist thing. But I think it is also really great that it has the attention that it has. Hi, Tina. I'm ending in like a few minutes, so I'm sorry that you just got here. I don't know if like my notification just went out or something, but yeah, we saw like there was a lot of people. I do agree, like it is a little overcrowded, but it is such a small place that maybe that's why it seems so overcrowded. But we kept our distance, kept our masks on, where we were sanitary, all that, and we tried to be as safe as we could while also enjoying the city or the town, because it's Salem town. So thank you guys so much for being here and chatting with me. I'm excited I finally made it for a Monday too. I haven't done it in so long, so I'm hoping that I can continue doing Mondays. I got really busy with like midterms and stuff, so this week and last week are pretty like crazy with school. So I'm hoping that I'm able to start doing Mondays more often again, because I do love talking to you guys and chatting and being able to talk about stuff. This is the first time I've been by myself on screen in a while, so it's been a little weird, been a little awkward. Sorry about that, but I did have a great time. Thank you, Tina. I love this hat too. I think it's great. It's like, yeah. So I had a great time talking to you guys about this. If you are watching the replay, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of this stream. And I know it wasn't the same without having you Mondays. I'm sorry. I'm back. I promise. I wasn't able to make Nerd Talk yesterday because I was in Salem and I felt really bad. And I tried hopping on Nerd Talk, but the internet just was not cooperating with me, so I could not do it. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love you all. Check out my Vlogtober video this weekend and the most recent weekends. I'm basically posting every Saturday in October. Go check those out. Thank you guys so much for being here. Bye.